Picture the original 1996 Twister, but with more heart. Yeah, I could definitely watch that. Now let's get started on my review of the new Twisters. Let's go. What's going on all my Flicksers? This is Jacey from Jacey Flicks, and I just got back from watching the new rebootable Twisters. Now, before I do get started with my review, please know that this will be a spoiler-free review, just in case you haven't seen the movie yet, currently showing in theaters. Also, please make sure that you hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell to stay up to date on more new movies that I'm reviewing just like this. So, Twisters stars Glenn Powell, Daisy Edgar Jones, Anthony Ramos, Brandon Pereira, and more. A retired tornado chaser and meteorologist is persuaded to return to Oklahoma to work with a new team and new technologies. When it comes to the original 1996's Twister film with the late great Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt, which I just reviewed a few days ago on my channel because I'd never seen the film before, go and check it out. It's going to pop up somewhere up here just in case you have not seen it yet. But you know what you're getting when you watch a film like that, especially set in the 90s. A fun action flick with amazing effects, a wild ride, and a couple who are mainly bickering at each other until they eventually give in to one another. Now with Twisters, however, to me, it's not really the same, but it is taken from the same formula to give us a more fun, enjoyable, heartfelt watch, which, by the way, I was not expecting going into this film. In this movie that's somewhat of a rebootable or kind of like a sequel, you get a fun cast that all does fairly well in it. You have, of course, the lovable Daisy Edgar Jones and the charismatic Glenn Powell, who's been everywhere recently, especially the past couple years, from the Top Gun sequel to Hitman to some of the other films that we've been seeing him recently in, and the guy is everywhere right now. But he does a great job, and all of the side characters as well do a good job. What surprised me the most, though, is the amount of emotional impact that I was not expecting to see in this film. Not to spoil too much, but you do have Daisy Edgar Jones' character in Kate, who has a kind of tragic backstory that haunts her when it comes to chasing down tornadoes. So you definitely care about these characters, and you really don't want anything to happen to them when they're in peril throughout. It really enriches the experience, if you know what I mean. I feel like that was the biggest difference between this film and the 1996's Twister. You get more of an emotional experience and kind of a connection with some of these characters. You do also have some famous appearances in this sequel to the original Tornado movie, like Daryl McCormick and Kiernan Shipka. You also get David Cornsweet, who's actually playing the new Superman in James Gunn's DC new rebooted universe. Bill Paxton's son also has a small cameo in the film. However, another great thing about this film is that it does not try to center the plot around someone who is connected to the characters from the previous film. Although this is somewhat of a rebootable, many times you'll have characters in a newer film that will try to give us connections to the original film. Let's say with like a legacy character, or somehow a son or a daughter is related to the main protagonist from the original film. All those things we've seen time and time before, especially the past few years when you've been getting sequels to older films like this that came out in the 90s or the 80s. Twisters doesn't do that though, and that's nice to see, and it's pretty refreshing to be honest. The funnest part though about Twisters is the likability in these characters, the emotional weight, and the intense situations that these characters are put in when mostly getting sucked in by these tornadoes or lack thereof. And of course, I did not want to go without mentioning these tornadoes are massive, they're huge, they're frightening, and they are entertaining. I mean, let's be honest, you don't go just to see these characters, although it does help to build that connection and kind of get you invested, but you really do go to some of these films like this, especially the weather disaster films, to watch these massive tornadoes and this destruction, and it doesn't shy away from that in this film. Although there's no huge set pieces like the house that Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt drove through in the original film, the scenes still have a huge, entertaining impact overall. The level of danger, though, is heavier this go around. I honestly feel like the best way to watch this film in theaters is with a huge crowd, so make sure you do so. With Twisters, A Quiet Place Day 1, Furiosa, Bad Boys Ride or Die, and even the latest Planet of the Apes installment, this summer has been great for popcorn flicks overall. With all that being said, you guys, I'm going to give Twisters 4 flames out of 5 and a fire film rating.
It's fantastic.
I had a blast with this one, you guys, and I can't wait for all of you to go and see it. My experience was great overall, even seeing it with the crowd. The actors in this film are very likable with great effects, the sequences that entertain throughout, much like the first film, but this is just my preference. I enjoyed these characters a bit more in this film compared to the original, and that's what made it more enjoyable, and I was a little more invested into this one. Oddly enough, too, just a little tidbit for you guys, but we are just getting into monsoon season here in Arizona, where we get these crazy weather storms and dust storms that pop up out of nowhere. And although we don't get tornadoes here in AZ, I loved how I got to see this film around this time of year. It kind of just put me in the mood to watch a weather disaster film, if that's kind of a thing. All right, guys, so have you seen this film yet? If not, are you looking forward to seeing this sequel slash rebootquel in theaters? Also, which one did you enjoy the most? The original nostalgic Twister from 1996 or Twisters? Let me know in the comments below. Last thing before I do go, you guys, please make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date. My name's Jacey from Jacey Flicks, and until next time, I'm out.